Hello, you're watching Stretford Paddock. We've just been live about 2 seconds ago, but the mic stopped working, so we've replaced the mic. We're back. People are just trying to stop us being live, aren't they, like they did before. We're back from that as well. 45 days off. Was it 45? The other way around. 45 days off. But, you know, here we are. We're here for some paper talk today, for some news. And we've got two bits of main news today. The first one is talking about the Atletico Madrid central midfielder, Saul Niguez, who, according to the Telegraph, has been offered, well, I wouldn't say offered, but Atletico Madrid are prepared to accept for an asking price of 85 million for Saul, which is lower than 125 million, which is his buyout clause, apparently. Apparently, United are interested in Saul. There's a few outlets reporting United's interest in Saul, obviously. Solskjaer has come out in the past few weeks and discussed, both seemingly privately to certain publications and publicly, for United's need for backup in midfield. Obviously something we've lost Fellaini, we've lost Herrera, we've essentially lost Matic in terms of his sort of presence on the pitch. So it's an area that we're in desperate need of. We already sort of needed an attacking midfielder before we lost those players, and now we're sort of 2.5, 3 players down from where we were last season, and we still haven't replaced them. Saul Niguez then is a 25-year-old central midfielder, plays, of course, for Atletico Madrid, as I said. He signed a 9-year contract not that long ago, so obviously there's going to be some sort of financial or contractual hurdles to overcome there, because that's some Alan Pardew level contract. That 9 years is like, we don't want you going anywhere, like we're going to retire your number type stuff. So it's slightly interesting that the Telegraph, who generally are one of the more reliable newspapers, certainly one of the more reliable sort of print publications, are coming out and saying that Atletico are willing to sell him. I wonder whether that's because he's fallen out of favour with Simeone, or because they need some money, or they don't think that they're going to be able to push forward in the transfer market without selling some of their players, and they see him as someone who's potentially expendable. I'm not quite sure exactly why you would offer someone a 9-year contract and then be willing to accept what is 45 million less than his buyout clause in 85 million. It's an interesting one, though. I think he was the sort of player that Solskjaer is looking for, not necessarily a sort of you sit back number 6 kind of destroyer that a lot of United fans have been crying out for. He's more a kind of almost more that Herrera, Carrick type player, where he's a number 8 with sort of obviously playing for Simeone and Atletico. He's got a lot of defensive sort of know-how, and he certainly doesn't shy away from that side of the game. I think he's more that kind of all energy, gets in the way of tackles, gets in the way of through balls, gets his body in the right place, rather than slide tackling all over the place like someone like Wan-Bissaka. Let us know in the comments. It's nice to be able to say that again. Let me know in the comments whether you think we should get Saul. Adam Patterson, hey up mate, saying Saul is better than Pogba. Mitt saying, oh my god, that intro. Yeah, it's the new Christmas intro we're going for. It won't hang around for long, so if you enjoy it, let us know. I think Saul is one of those players that he seemed like such a certain to stay at Atletico for his whole career. Obviously, that kind of contract, it's probably going to be a difficult one to prize him away from there. But if this is the sort of player that Solskjaer set his mind on, and this kind of money, 85 million, seems a lot, but if, as we'll come on to soon, if Pogba is to leave, and if you would hope that Solskjaer and the board are more aware of his sort of stance on whether he will stay or go, this is the sort of money that United would be looking to spend. We're sort of spending what would probably be 130, 140, 150 million pound transfer fee that we would get for Pogba. It's better to spend it before you sell the player rather than afterwards when everyone knows you're desperate. I think as we found out, well, United always get overcharged for players, but if you spend money that you know you're going to get before you get it, it's better than everyone sitting there going, hang on a sec, you've got 150 million in the bank that you've just got from Pogba, and you're desperate for midfielders, so instead of being 85 million, it's going to be the full 125. So I think that might be what United are looking to do here. And then looking forward then to Pogba, it's just never ending this, is it? Injury, broken this, broken that, cast coming off, warm weather training, playing basketball, dancing. Now he's got an illness. Solskjaer coming out in his pre-match press conference saying, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer reveals Paul Pogba illness. This is from Simon Stone on Twitter. Solskjaer says he's been off for 2 days, so that's not beneficial. That's probably set him back quite a bit. As I've said so many times, Paul's a top player that we want to see playing his best football at Man United. We need to get him fit and match fit. 2 days off is, I wonder whether that's... He says he's been off for 2 days. I wonder whether that means he's been off for 2 days and he's now back, or he has been off for the last 2 days and he's not back yet. Because it seems strange to me to say that 2 days off would set him back quite a bit. Obviously, he's got to get over that illness, depending on what it is. Sometimes things take 3 or 4 days before you can sort of, especially if he's maybe antibiotics involved, that really affects your fitness and your stamina and that kind of thing. But you would think it would only add maybe another 3 or 4 days on top of the 2 days he's out before he can be back training, at least. I'm not quite sure. Obviously, we don't know what the illness is. We don't know whether it's a flu or a bug or some sort of, you know, bacterial, like I said, antibiotics often. I don't know if anyone's ever tried to run on antibiotics. I walked up the stairs and I felt like I was going to pass out. So I think it's going to be difficult for him to get his fitness back, which is obviously one of the things he's going to be lacking, having been out for so long. What is it, 3 months now? I think it's over 3 months. He's missed, I think he's only played 6 league games this season, so it's difficult. Tom in the comments saying, Pogba has a fat hangover. You know what? Hopefully it is that. Although I don't think he drinks, does he? So maybe not. People in the comments not particularly happy with Pogba, offering to ship him off here. Let me know in the comments whether you think Pogba will play for Man United again, because it's one of those things, isn't it? It seems impossible that it looked like he might leave in the summer, next summer. Yeah, we all thought that. He seems unhappy. His brothers keep coming out. He keeps coming out and never denying anything. Raiola's just Raiola. But now it's this sort of trajectory of these injuries, and this we're just sort of cruising toward that January transfer window, and he just isn't coming back. The thing I don't really get is, this is something I've never quite understood. Other than Pogba saying, I never want to play for United again, what is he getting from being out for 4 months? Because even if he wants to leave, does he want to leave so much that he's willing to make himself look very injury prone or have it looking like he's got a bad attitude to go somewhere else? Because he gets money from his transfer, his agent gets money from his transfer, they all want him to be worth as much as possible. So you would think, let's say he's making the most of these injuries, that doesn't really do him any favours in terms of how much money they're going to get for him. So that makes me slightly sceptical of this idea that he's faking these injuries and he's literally just trying to buy his way out of United or buy his time until he can leave United. It's a bit of a strange one. I've never quite understood that, what the player gets from pretending to be injured for so long, because I don't think it makes him look good in any way, really. I think the best way for him to get a move away would be look excellent, get 10 goals, 10 assists before January, and then go for 150 million and him and his agent can laugh covered in cash. We've got Ahmed Adir, I'm getting that wrong, Ahmed Amir, saying that Grealish doesn't have discipline. People talking about Jack Grealish. I don't think... We've not really been linked with Jack Grealish, have we? That's one of those things that people seem to like Jack Grealish because he's a young English player who seems to have a lot of talent, but I don't think necessarily United are in for Grealish. Adam in the comments saying United club doctor has diagnosed Pogba with can't be arse syndrome. That might be the case. That might well be the case. Pogba can go. He has a weak mentality and loyalty to begin with. I think the loyalty thing is slightly overstated in football. No one really has loyalty when money's involved, when football's involved. Players don't have loyalty to the club. Clubs don't have loyalty to players when they play badly or when they get, you know, terrible injuries and people get let go. People don't have... People always talk about the manager should have loyalty to the club. He shouldn't be selfish. But there's no loyalty when the results are bad and you get sacked. So I think loyalty is one of those things that if you try as hard as you can every game, like Ander Herrera did for United, he left. He left because we didn't offer him enough money and because he had a better opportunity at PSG. But I think he was still loyal in terms of every time he played, he tried his best. I think that's really all you can hope for in terms of loyalty. But yeah, let us know what you think to the Pogba story. Let us know what you think to Saul as well. Would he be a perfect replacement for Pogba? It's so good being live again. It's great to be back. We're going to be having a podcast later that should be live as well. We're going to do everything live. I'm going to live toilets, live kitchens, live everything. It's just going to be perfect. Right. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you a little bit later for the podcast. I'm just looking up at the list schedule here. We've got a podcast later. That's going to be good. Right. Join us for the podcast later. Let me know what you think to Saul. Let me know what you think to Pogba. And we'll see you next time.